Hey guys, Jimmy Davis here, and well, I should address a couple of things before I get this going. First of all, I know that not everybody follows me on Twitter, and I haven't really made much of a big deal about it here on YouTube, but yes, I did cut my hair. I actually shaved it entirely, like my beard, my hair, everything, back in July, late July, and I've been letting it grow back to see how long it takes. And I know that there are people who do follow me on Twitter who also comment and stuff over here, and there were some people who were confused by my video that I uploaded at the beginning of October. I think I just called it Good Morning, the thing where I was like lip syncing to the Wilford Brimley section for PBG Wanderers Gamelon, and they didn't realize that was the footage that I used for that YTP. And a lot of people were saying, asking how I grew my hair back so fast. It's possible some people were just joking, but anyway, yes, my hair is much shorter than it was last year, but I would assume by next year it should be much longer. This is like 4 months of hair growth. So the other thing I should point out is that I'm recording this it's like 1 in the afternoon. I don't remember what time I started recording last year's, but if you remember last year's commentary video, I started recording too late in the day, and for like the last 20 minutes or so of the video, it was like pitch black, and the focus was going everywhere, and I should have just switched to audio only, but hopefully that won't happen this time around. I don't know for sure what time sundown happens, but hopefully it's long enough. Also, I'm right next to my window. I'm in a different position last time because I moved the TV around in my living room, but I'm right next to the window, and you can see, I'm sure you've noticed it, when I put my hands out here, they're much, much brighter than normal, because I'm kind of, right back here, I'm kind of in the shadows, because the sun is, but anyway, that shouldn't be too distracting. Anyway, I should really just get into this so I can get it all done before the sun goes down, because if that happens again this year, I don't even know what. If that happens again this year, I'm just going to get a lamp next year and just leave the shades closed and use the lamp for light. But anyway, if you've never watched one of these videos, the way that it works is I go through all my YTPs from the past year. This is year 4. That's another thing I forgot that I should specify, is that this is year 4, so that means it doesn't include Qwerty Says a Funny Joke, or Peter Man Confesses His Love to Jerry Main, because those are year 5 YTPs. But anyway, I go through all my YTPs. I just go through all my videos from that year, and I do commentary over my YTPs, and I'll talk about some of my non-YTPs as well. If you want to just skip around, you want to hear what I say about a certain YTP or whatever, you can just go look in the description. I'll have timestamps for all the different videos that I'm talking about. If there's an asterisk next to it, that means I don't actually watch the video, I just talk about it. Like for some YTPs, some shorter YTPs and stuff, I wouldn't really need to watch them. But anyway, so I'll just get into this then. So this first one then, also I should also mention that I try to do as few cuts in these as I can, because I want to make it easier for me on editing. I don't want to spend like a week editing, so I do as few cuts as possible, so it might get a little bit awkward the way that I'm talking, because I am awkward, like this intro, but it should smooth out as things go on. It's always a little bit weird to start out just talking to yourself in the middle of your apartment, if you know what I mean. But anyway, this first video then, I'm not actually going to watch this one because it's so short. It's only 19 seconds long, but it's Spyro Dragon Egg. Also, one final thing. This should be the last thing that I have to specify. I'm going to be going through these in order of when I uploaded them, not in order of when I published them. So some of these have been uploaded for, like some will be out of order then if you were to look on my channel. Like, for example, Spyro Dragon Egg was uploaded on June 1st. June 1st, 2017. So that would be just 2 days... wait. No, 3 days after I uploaded Larry Man twice. And I just, left it unlisted until the collab was up. I don't even remember when Ripto's Races 2 collab was up, but it's the Spyro Dragon Egg has been up since June 1st, 2017. I don't really have a whole lot to say about this one. Really, it's very short and simple. I do remember when I was making this, because if you don't know about the Ripto's Races 2 collab, the way that worked is that MP Carlson had everybody do like a little sort of like a mini YTP of a dragon egg hatching for their portion of the video, I guess, like to just show their name, whatever. I think his intention was to get as many of his subscribers as possible to contribute. So when I made mine, I thought that I maybe went a little bit, maybe not that I went too far, but I did think that I made more of a YTP than I was expecting most other people to do. And then when I watched the collab, there were a lot of people who did a lot more editing with their Dragon Egg and made it a lot better than mine. But people seem to enjoy it. It actually, well, right now it has over 20,000 views, which that's more than some of my full YTPs. But the reason why that happened is because shortly after I uploaded it, I think it was like a few days, maybe a week later, somebody shared it to Reddit somewhere. I don't use Reddit, so I don't know. I don't have any idea how the site works, but I think there's like a page on Reddit that's like for short, funny YouTube videos or whatever, and I think overnight it ended up getting like 7,000 or 8,000 views just from that. So that's, I would assume, where the majority of those views came from. But yeah, that's not the greatest way to start out the commentary video, but that was the first YTP of the year. So the next one would be, yeah, YTP, did Caddicarus know the gaming features of Spyro? Now this one was uploaded, I don't know when it was published. Like I said, I forget when the Ripto's Races 2 collab came out, but it was uploaded on June 21st, 2017. It has just short of 60,000 views right now. That's pretty good for my, not one of my most viewed YTPs necessarily, but it does have a lot more than I was expecting. It's actually, maybe I should say this for when I get to the video. I'll just say that Did You Know Gaming recently uploaded a, not really like a, sort of like a remake of this episode of Did You Know Gaming. Yeah, like they did it about Spyro, and they kind of covered the same things they covered in this episode that I did a YTP of. And one of the top comments on there is a quote from this YTP. I thought that was kind of funny. And also, I think Did You Know Gaming, the channel, I think it's run by Shane Gill, like watched and commented, or at least commented on the Ripto's Races 2 collab, referencing this video, so. Oh, shit. So that was interesting. But anyway, should finally get started on that. Of course, the train's going by. Get started on actually doing a commentary now. Okay. These are always very weird to start out with. I really hope this will smooth out as things go on. Yeah, okay, I guess I'll just start watching this, and it's been quite a while since I've made this one, so I don't know for sure how much I'll remember to talk about, but hopefully I'll at least have something. Oh, also and I need to turn this down a little bit, the border around it, the Did You Know Gaming border, on the one side, the right side, that's like MP Carlson related stuff, and the left side is stuff related to my videos, in case you didn't figure that out. There were some people who complained about this video being too fast-paced, with like the sentence mixing and everything. People, I've gotten to the point now where I get like complaints from both sides. Like some people complaining that my videos are too fast-paced and reference-heavy. Some people complaining they're too slow-paced and whatever. But this is one of the first times I can remember getting like a complaint about pacing for my YTPs. Oh yeah, that was before I was... This was like right before I started putting profanity in my videos and stuff, so if I would have made this just a few months later, that would have been uncensored. Also, that the Japanese Spyro thing, the Gateway to the Gay UK thing, that was, I used Google Translate for that, and I was trying to get it to say Gateway to the Gay UK or something similar to that, and it kept coming back. I translated it to Japanese and translated it back to English. This was the quote that was on the Did You Know Gaming video. That did you know that you didn't know that knowing is half the battle. But anyway, I would Google Translate Gateway to the Gay UK to Japanese and then back into English, trying to get it to be more or less the same thing, and it kept coming back in English as something along the lines of like entrance to the happy UK, which originally I was gonna try to get it to be something like Gateway to the Gay UK, but then I realized it actually kind of works as like an inside joke for my channel, that the whole gay means happy thing. Also, I don't know if you can hear that, but those are my birds chirping in the other room. I think you can probably hear that. It shouldn't be too distracting though. But yeah, that one, not really one of my better videos, I would say, but I like how it turned out overall. I don't think it was one of my worst. It's kind of, sort of in the middle for me, maybe slightly more above average, but still not one that I'd put on like my top 10 or anything like that. So then the next one is my first YTF, first and so far of only 2, I guess. I plan to do more, I don't know for sure when I will. But the Keel over in Die House. This was one, I don't know. Well, it's hard for me to see for sure. The light's shining right on the screen. Okay, it was uploaded December 13th, 2017, and has just short of 58,000 views, which is that's I think that's more than the Spyro or the Did You Know Gaming one, I believe. I just watched it and I forget if it was. I think it might have been. It's around the same. Either way, it's a lot better than I was anticipating. But for the name YTF YouTube fart was something I made the observation on Twitter. I forget when, but I just said, can we just start calling audio only YTPs YouTube farts? And for the most part, people seem to think that was a good idea. After I started doing it, I think there were some people who thought it was stupid, but so was the name YouTube poop. I don't know for sure if I'll. You know what? I will. Now that I think about it, I think I will keep around the name YTF for future audio only YTPs. But with this one, I originally intended, when I was making the YTP of this, because it's a YTP of the song from Cuphead, the Die House. I was originally wanting to try to find like separated vocal tracks and instrumental tracks to kind of do a YTP like the DK app, but I couldn't find the vocal track and instrumental track separated, so I couldn't do that, unfortunately. But I still think it turned out okay overall. And I guess I don't know for sure what else I can really say about this one before I get into it. Other than the fact that I'll talk a little bit about the visual portion, the repeating animation thing of me, or my at the time my profile picture, the sort of VeggieTales inspired version of my face in the style of Cuphead. That was the way that I did that. I kind of cheated with that one, because I for the most part traced over King Dice's head, although I did, like obviously he doesn't have the hair or the beard, and doesn't have the mouth like that, but otherwise that one was, I don't remember how long it took me to make that. I think I spent like a day drawing it, and then what I did was I drew the one frame, and then I put it into Sony Vegas and like did a using the deform visual effect, special effect. I can't think straight when I'm trying to do a video and I'm trying to keep talking clearly and entertainingly. Anyway, I used deform to kind of make it bounce up and down. I took screenshots of all the different frames and then traced over those. I think I could probably make it look better now if I did it now, because at the time wasn't really super experienced with using GIMP, the program that I use, but now I am. So I think I could do better now, but I guess that's really beside the point. But anyway, I guess I'll just start playing it and talk about whatever comes to mind. I was going to, with the that instrumental part, I wanted to make a reference to, I forget the name of the song from VeggieTales episode. I think it's just called "Oh No, What Are We Gonna Do" or whatever. Because it sounds very similar, at least I think. And I think someone even pointed it out in the comments. I think this first half is not very good, honestly. Like I like this, the majority of this video, but I think that once it gets to the first chorus onward, that's when it picks up. Oh, there was the "Don't You Diss My Memes" thing that I made the t-shirt around. That is another quote that people seem to like from this video. I need to find more excuses to do pitch shifting stuff to see if I can finally learn how to pitch shift properly. I think that was my favorite sentence mixing part. I don't know for sure how much people liked it as compared to how much I liked it, but I think it turned out the best of all the sentence mixing, in my opinion. It was very simple, but I think that's why it worked as well as it did. Yeah, I really should have rewatched my other commentary videos before I did this, because I don't remember, am I always this boring when I do these? Like, do I really not have as much to say as I think I do? I don't know. Maybe, just, if you could, just make sure to leave some feedback as to what you think about these videos, what you think I should do in the future to change them or whatever. I would assume that people would want them to be more heavily edited, but like I said, these tend to be, several hours long, and so having to sit down and edit a several hour long video, it takes a long time, and I would rather focus on doing YTP editing and stuff like that. Anyway, I'll move on to the next one then. The next one is what do I even have this titled? Early Edits and Scrapped YTP Material from 2017. Now this is a series that I've been doing for a while. I think the first one was called like deleted or cancel YTP's deleted clips, something like that. I forget what I called it, but so I've been doing it. I think this is the third one in the series, and I want to rename the series something a bit more simple. I don't know, like I think one of the ideas I had was something like recycled bits or something like that. YTP recycled bits volume 2 or whatever. So that's it's just kind of a mouthful of a title, and I do consider these to be YTPs, these compilation videos, even though they were originally deleted or canceled or early edits and stuff like that. I do still consider them to be among my YTPs, so I'd like to get a simpler sounding name, or a catchier name. So I would imagine that this one, the one that I'm going to be uploading at the end of the year, this year, will probably have a different title, but it will be in the same series. But this one was uploaded December 22nd, has 13,000 views, slightly over, but not too much. I don't know if there's really a whole lot I can talk about before I get into it. Maybe it'd be better just to get right into it. It is like the longest video. I think the longest YTP, yeah, easily the longest YTP I uploaded during year 4 at 8 minutes long. But yeah, let me just get it started and see if I can come up with stuff to talk about. This first one, this little YTPMV type thing, was originally planned for PBG Wander's Gamelon. There's the part where MP Carlson calls me a dick and slams the door, and there was supposed to be some sort of sad music playing, and I didn't know what kind of sad music it should be, so I was just kind of trying a few different things, see what would work. And originally I just started doing like the background music here, and then playing the Michael Rosen poem over the background, and I realized that it kind of matched up with the music in certain places, and so I sort of made a little YTP and V type thing out of it, and I actually really like how it turned out. I did originally have it uploaded as its own video, unlisted, but I just never made it public because I didn't think people would like it. Yeah, that was another one where an instance where I just didn't like the sentence mixing of that one, and I don't think it really worked with the video as a whole. I want to do more sentence mix YTP and Vs with the DK rap, because I think it's, people seem to like it for one thing, and I tend to like making them because they seem to be easy enough to make, but still challenging enough to the point where it's not so tedious or boring or whatever. I don't know if that made any sense. I'm trying to focus on the video and focus on what I'm saying, and that never ends up, things never end up coming out right. But yeah, this is one of the things that I did with this video, this volume of this series, that I intend to do with future volumes of the series, where with previous video, like the last video I did in this series, I just sort of took a bunch of deleted clips and stuff and just chopped them up and threw them in random places. But in this one, I separated them by video. So like all the PBG Wanderers Gamelon stuff is all right in a row and stuff like that. I intend to do that with future videos because I think that just makes it easier to watch and more entertaining. And this whole Wilford Brimley section was never intended to go in the whole thing was never intended to be used in PBG Wanderers Gamelon. I intended to use like the basics of it, obviously. Like I just started sentence mixing. I wasn't really sure where I was going when I was first started making it, and I couldn't figure out a way to get it to wrap up and everything, and so it just ended up being longer and longer. And then I've obviously shortened it down for the finished YTP. But even then, it was pretty long. I think it was like a full minute long or something like that. For that part, I want in the language that I understood, I wanted to try to sentence mix and to say in English or something like that. But I didn't want to go through the sentence mixing with that, and I didn't think it would be all that funny if I did anyway. That's right. That was one of the ideas I had originally. It wasn't going to be that an Asian doctor was one who diagnosed him with diabetes, and that's why he hates Asians. It was going to be an Asian put a curse on him, which I don't know. Like I said, I didn't know where I was going when I first started sentence mixing, and I just went wherever. And I think when I got the Asian people, that's when I thought it would be funny to do something just completely weird and out of left field. But I like the doctor joke better.
You know what? I agree.
Not really sure because a lot of this stuff is like just kind of different versions of PBG Wanderers Gamelon stuff, so I don't know for sure what all I can say about this. Morshu is another character that I'd like to do more sentence mix YTP and Vs with. He's kind of a different thing from the DK rap though, because with him it's much more difficult because he has much more limited dialogue. But like I really like Morshu the Scat Man, and that's kind of an inspiration for my Morshu sentence mix stuff. Sentence mix YTP and Vs, that is. This was another one that I wonder if I should have just uploaded this as its own video. I mean, I made it loopable, so I could just loop the whole video and upload like an hour-long version of it someday. I think I said that to someone in the comments. If you ever see an hour-long video uploaded on April Fool's Day, you know what that is. Also, I misspelled seamlessly. Well, I didn't misspell seamlessly, I just put the wrong seamlessly. You know, I put S-E-E-M instead of S-E-A-M. And that kind of stuff. I can never seem to make a video without making some sort of spelling error in it. This part, this little bit of sentence mixing, that was for, what did I call that one? Hark and Mike's Interdimensional Milk Hunt, I think is what I called it. Anyway, that was, I'll get more into that when I get to that video, but basically that was going to be completely different from the way that I made it, and that was going to be, basically Harkinian crashed a car into a house that was like Link's house, and that's, I forget what the baker's name is. George, actually, I guess is the baker's name. I found out by looking that up. The baker from Wand of Gamelon. But George was going to come out and say that his friend Link will burn and die. But this part was scrapped mostly because I was too lazy to do this editing that I eventually edited when I was making this compilation, just so it would make more sense.
Good work, Master Laddie. Oh my goodness. What? Mother Wii U. Oh my goodness. What? It's a lot.
I don't remember. I think that part, the Mother Wii U thing, I think that was originally supposed to be the part that that triggered Woody. You know, so I had that plan for the. Speaking of Larry Man twice for a minute here, I had that plan to have Larry, or Woody, I mean, freak out about a Wii U joke before I even started doing anything in the video. So I was just trying to find a place for a Wii U joke, and I think that's what that scene was originally, that clip was originally for, the Mother Wii U. Because it wasn't based on anything.
Hey, I got the dog. Wow, I guess I must be a boy.
I think there was supposed to be a lot more to this. I think that was just like a short clip and like an idea for a long story-based YTP that I never did anything with. It was more of an idea for a YTP than a plan. I think it was just Harkinian was going to go and get help from Link or whatever and walk into Link's room, and that's what Link was doing there. But I just decided to sentence mix it anyway, even though I didn't think I was actually going to go through with the YTP. And I probably never will. I don't even remember the specifics of what the YTP was. I think it probably wasn't a very good idea. I tend to get a lot of ideas for like story-based YTPs, like when I'm at work and stuff, that I know that I'll never do because they're not very well thought out. And that was one of them. But anyway, move on to the next one then. This one's actually become one of my most viewed videos. This is steamed hams, but it's edited like a classic YTP. And I intended to name it like YTP something. I don't know what I was gonna call it. I think the project file was called YTP'd Hams, but I don't think that was ever my intention to name the video that. But I kind of don't like the fact that I named it this because it kind of makes it seem like I was doing this just to kind of jump on the bandwagon. But it was intended as, you know, a YTP and not just like some meme video or whatever. But actually, when I made this one, well, this was made January 2nd. When I made this one, it was uploaded January 2nd, and it was also made on January 2nd, because I made it in one day. I think I want to say that I ended up working on it for, I think it was 8 hours or 9 hours. No, that's right. I made it January 1st, but I didn't upload it until the next day. But, because I remember when I was editing it, that's when the whole Logan Paul Suicide Forest thing was in the news. Or that was when the video was still up, and people were sharing it on Twitter to get people to mass flag it and whatever. So I saw that video when it was still on Logan Paul's channel. But anyway, that's unrelated. But when I made this video, I thought this was like the end of the trend, the fad of the steamed hams memes, because, you know, steamed hams memes were a thing. I don't know for sure when they started, but I think they kind of got popular, or their first wave of popularity, that is, was around like late 2017. Like just November, December, something like that. And so when I made this one, I thought that at that point the meme was dead. So I thought that I could do this and people wouldn't think that I'm just jumping on the bandwagon or whatever, because the meme was, like I said, at that point I thought the meme was dead, but apparently it wasn't, because it got big again. It got bigger than it ever was in early 2018. But anyway, I got the idea to do this YTP while I was at work, and I was just thinking of like YTP ideas for it, and they were all very simple edits, so like just like cutting between sentences and whatever, mashing two sentences up and stuff like that. And it just, to me, it seemed like a very basic, simple idea, so that's why I made it, edited like a classic YTP. There were a lot of people, well actually I put pre-Spadinner in the title, because there were a lot of people asking, you know, well, where's Pingas, where's Mama Luigi, where's, you know, all this stuff that's like Spadinner era YTP stuff. But the point of the title is, it's not supposed to feel like a YTP that was made in 2006 or whatever. It's just supposed to be edited with the limitations of a 2006 YTP. So, you know, just very simple cuts, very simple, like slow down, zoom in, stuff like that. I didn't edit it in Windows Movie Maker, but I tried to make it feel like it was edited with Windows Movie Maker. But yeah, actually, let me just open up the video really quick and scroll down to the comments. There's actually, shortly after uploading, I got a comment from Super Yoshi, the guy who created YTPs. So that was definitely the highlight of probably my YTP career, actually, I guess, now that I think about it. But anyway, I like how this one turned out. It is very simple. Like, it was like the another part of the classic editing style that I wanted to kind of capture with this video is kind of cutting back and forth between, like, going back to the same scene but having it play out slightly differently, if you know what I mean. Like how a lot of older YTPs would just they'll kind of like repeat the same segment over and over, but then like they'll have one part like be slowed down or something like that, or whatever. And so that was kind of what I was going for here. But like I think one of the things that people think about one of the reasons why people think that it's supposed to feel like an old YTP from 2006 is because of the old YouTube layout that I did, which was mostly just a way to prevent Fox from being able to automatically detect it and block it or monetize it or whatever, which worked. They still haven't picked up on it. But I do like the layout itself, even if Fox did monetize it or block it, or, well, wouldn't be happy if they blocked it, but I still would like the way the border looks. There have been a couple people who've asked me to upload it without the border, but I don't see any reason to do that. It's not like it's that big. Doesn't reduce the size of the screen much at all. But anyway, I think at this point I'm just kind of rambling. I think I kind of covered all the points I was trying to make. Just to kind of sum it up, it was not supposed to feel like a YTP from 2006. It was just supposed to be edited with those limitations. It's like a more modern version of a classic YTP, I guess. Although then again, I guess I did edit it like Windows Movie Maker YTP. I don't know, maybe I didn't even really know what I was doing when I made it. But in the end, I do like the way it turned out, and a lot of other people seem to as well. It was at one point, I think, the second most viewed Steamed Hams edit. At the moment, it has 362,000 views. And it was, like I said, one of the, I think it was the second most viewed Steamed Hams video. Like, if you looked up Steamed Hams, there would be like the original episode clip, and then there was like one other edit, and then like mine was right down there. And then when NP Carlson did his Steamed Hams Inc., of course, that I'm pretty sure that is the most viewed Steamed Hams video. And then since then, there have been a bunch of other ones that have kind of got a lot more views. But I obviously don't care. Just that was an interesting time to be able to see one of my videos be one of the most viewed in that category. And also, before I start the video, I want to mention I do kind of want to do more videos, more YTPs like this, where I take like meme videos and edit them in this kind of style with, like, you know, just very simple cuts and like limited to no visual effects or anything like that. And if I ever do that, I do have a plan that, like on the actual video, like you'll see in a minute when I play the video, there is, on the old YouTube layout, there's like a related videos section on the side. I think it would be kind of fun to like fill that up with, like, you know, if I do another edit like this, just put like the steamed hams, but it's edited like a classic YTP in like the related videos section there, and then just kind of fill those up over time with more videos in this series. But I don't know for sure if I ever will actually do more of these. It's just kind of more of an idea at this point. But I think it would be fun. I wanted to do that with the Get Out of My Car meme. I forget what exactly that's called. I think it might just be called Get Out of My Car, or Get Out of My Car Now, I think is what it's called. But I never got around to doing that, and I don't know. Like I said, I don't know for sure if I'll do more videos like this, but I do want to. Okay. And then like the watermark that I put down in the corner, I guess that's not super accurate to classic YTPs. That's another, but it is kind of like intended to feel like an older YTP in that sense. Like I said, I guess I don't really know for sure what I was going for with this, in that sense. But like I said, it wasn't supposed to feel exactly like an old YTP. Just sort of like an older YTP. If that makes any sense, though. I've rambled on about that for far too long, I think, at this point. But yeah, like I said, I did all this in just a few hours. I think it was a total of, it was 8 or 9 hours, including the render time. Also, this was the first YTP that I edited with Vegas Pro. I think I've only done one other YTP with Vegas Pro, though, because I just don't like Vegas Pro. I prefer Movie Studio HD, the one that I already have. That's what I was mentioning earlier about kind of cutting back to the earlier clips and just doing something slightly different. So that was, I don't know. It is, like I've mentioned before, it's very hard to kind of concentrate on what I'm watching and what I'm saying. I think that was the first, or like when I was coming up with ideas for this, I think that was the only joke that that actually stayed in, was these hamburgers are obviously foreskin. One thing that people did complain, or it wasn't like a serious complaint, but I did get a few comments about the, you know, like I have the, what would you even call that? On the bottom of the YouTube, or the bottom of the video player screen, in the video, you can see the bar moving along to show the video progress, but the time on the side doesn't change at all. Which, like I said, I got a few people pointing that out, and I didn't really feel like doing that part, but I do kind of wish I would have. I don't know. Like I said, you know, this was made in like 8 hours. If I would have given it another day or something like that, I probably would have come up with more little details like that I would have fixed. I think there was one joke in here that I had accidentally stolen, the house is a house thing, which I guess that's kind of one of the more obvious jokes I think that I made. This was another thing that I probably shouldn't have done, was the fake credits thing that kind of added to the whole feel, like as if it's supposed to feel like an old YTP. I don't know, I guess it's not a big deal. It's just, like I said, I had a lot of people comment about inaccuracies, about how like there should have been the Windows Movie Maker rainbow effect. There should have been, you know, Hotel Mario stuff and all that stuff. But I don't know. Like I wasn't trying to make a video that wasn't entertaining. I was trying to make an entertaining video, just a very simplistic video. But anyway, I guess I should move on from that one. I talked enough about that one, I would say. So the next one is Patreon Sentence Mix Request Volume 2, which I uploaded March 1st. This one actually got a decent amount of views as well. This was 38,000 at this point. At this point, honestly, I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to be doing with Patreon. Like, I mentioned when I made this one that I wanted to do more sentence mix request things. Like, I got rid of the idea where, like, when you support me on Patreon, you can get one sentence mix request. I did away with that because I realized it was just taking up way too much of my time. And I was just kind of getting sick of doing it. But I said that I did want to do more of those in the future, but I haven't got around to doing that yet. So I don't know, I think I might still do that, but I don't know, my Patreon, I've been thinking about it, and I think it's becoming more of a chore than anything. Like, I keep losing patrons, like, every month, whatever. I'm down, I think I was up to, like, 45 a month at one point, now I'm down to, like, 17 or something like that, which I'm obviously not complaining about, but it's just... It's like I said, it's like a chore trying to keep people happy and keep patrons coming in and staying and all that, and it's that was kind of what the Patreon sentence mix request I think was more or less for, is to kind of give incentive for that. And I think since I did away with that, it's not a much incentive for people to stay. But then I said that I was going to do another one, so it's been, I don't know, I think I've been considering just doing away with Patreon entirely, because I've just noticed how much stress I've been under trying to balance it and whatever. I don't know if that made any sense at all. I'm kind of rambling right now, but I think it made enough sense to the point where you get what I'm saying. Basically, I don't know for sure if I'm going to be doing another Patreon sentence mix request, but I do kind of want to. I don't know, I guess I should just focus on some of the bigger projects I have going on at the moment and see if I have time and motivation to get it done. But like I said, this one, I had a lot more fun with this one than I did with the first one. Because I think the first one, like at that point I was trying to get them done like one every month, which was a horrible idea in hindsight. I think the first one I was a little bit late. I think I was a little bit late with that one. I don't remember for sure though. Maybe I was like a month late with that one. I don't know. But this one I was like considerably later than the first one. To the point where one person actually was very upset that I didn't have his sentence mix request finished and wanted a refund of the $2 that he spent supporting me on Patreon for 2 months, which, you know, like I said, it's not supposed to be a transaction. It's like, you support me if you want to. I appreciate it if you support me, but this is something that I'm trying to give back to you in return. It's not something that you're buying, if that makes any sense. But like this one, so I think since I gave myself more time, I had more fun doing it, because I did a little bit more with the request rather than just simply sentence mixing them as is and then just not really doing much at all with the visuals or anything like that, like with the first one. And with this one, like I did do that. I did do more with the visuals. I added a little more dialogue to it, and I don't know. I think it was definitely, it took a lot longer. It was more, I guess, probably more stressful to make, but at the same time, it was more rewarding in the end, more fun in the end. So, and a lot of people did seem to like it. So I'm just getting to the sun. I mean, obviously the sun is really starting to go down. I hope it doesn't go down much more before I'm done. I don't know what it is, but for some reason, I don't like sentence mixing Michael Rosen, but this one doing this wasn't bad. Like, I kind of enjoyed doing this sentence mix bit. I don't know why that is. I guess just because it's set to a song that made it easier. This is one that I think that I could have done better with. Like this, not the sentence mixing portion, but just like the additional stuff that I added to it. I think it was kind of drags on a little too long. And I'm assuming like a lot of these requests that I got were just like inside jokes that don't make any sense at all to me, so I kind of try to do something more entertaining with those ones, I guess. Pumkin's another one that I found that I don't like sentence mixing with, because I don't know, he's just very difficult to sentence mix. I think that was the first instance of like an uncensored swear word in one of my videos. It was the oh shit part. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. But one last thing about Pumkin is that I do want to do more stuff with Pumkin though, because I have that model, the 3D model of him that people really seem to like whenever I do something Pumkin related.
I think not. You can't catch me.
Yeah, so it's another instance of something that's very clearly like just an inside joke, or maybe it's a quote from something that I've never heard of, but I don't know. Like, with this one, I knew the sentence mixing was going to sound choppy, so like I intentionally made it kind of like a shitty, like the intention was like a powered by the cheat look to it. Or, well, I guess Powered by the Cheat is like inspired by old Flash stuff, so I guess like an old Flash video. I think I even did it at like 12 frames per second or something like that. When that request was made, the WoW meme was still relevant, and it wasn't when I finished the video. I want to do more videos like this. Like sort of palm tree style animation, but instead of text to speech using choppy sentence mixing. I don't know for sure when I'll do it, if I even will do it, but I want to try to do something like that. So I think that one was a lot of fun. A lot of people did seem to like that one. This one was pretty easy to sentence mix, because there was no sentence mixing. I kind of want to bring back this Demon Jack thing in a future video. I don't know where, but I think that was like one of my favorite parts to edit, and I like the way it turned out. Oh, with that guy, that guy's name, you know, the way that I would do these sentence mix requests is I would say, then I'll sentence mix your name with the person that you had me do the sentence mixing with, and he told me that, you know, you can do it with or without the name, so I thought it'd be kind of funny to do it with the name, but like censor out the name. So that's why his name is censored there. I don't think anybody got the joke. I don't even know if he got the joke, but I did, and that's all that matters, I guess. Yeah, I guess. Like I said, I want to try to do more sentence mix requests in the future. I just don't know when I will. Or if I even will. It's possible that I won't. But I guess we'll see what happens. Alright, so next one then is YTP Luigi's Hotel of Lots of Spaghetti, which was originally titled Hotel Mario Revisited. Uploaded, it says on here it says that it was uploaded on March 31st, even though it was uploaded on April 1st. I think I started the upload process at like 11:30 at night or something like that, and by the time it was done, it was technically, it was April 1st, you know, it was like midnight on April 1st or something like that. I think that happened with my last April Fool's Day video as well. But anyway, I guess it's not super important. This was another similar one to, it was similar to the steamed hams, but it's edited like a classic YTP thing, except in this case I wanted this one to feel like like this was kind of my way of making a YTP that felt like a YTP that was made like in 2007 or whatever. Whereas my steamed hams one, it was edited with the limitations of like an old YTP, not necessarily to feel like an old YTP, if that makes sense. But this one has just about 14,000 views, and despite how simplistic and completely stupid it is, I do really like this one. I think this one was actually a lot of fun to make. This one was actually edited, the first part obviously was edited in Windows Movie Maker. The last part was obviously not edited in Windows Movie Maker, but the first part was, because I wanted to get that authentic feel. But like I said, this one was surprisingly very fun to make. I kind of like the way it turned out. even though it's completely stupid, and these YTPs are, you know, you could find 1,000 of them on YouTube, 1,000 that are much better than this one that are still stupid and terrible. But I like doing this one. I think I might in the future make another video similar to this in Windows Movie Maker that's just complete shit. Because I think there's something. What is it about it? It's like a it has a certain charm to it. You know what I mean? Where you know it's kind of like watching an old movie that uses like that has like really bad special effects, like it's like puppets and stuff like that, and bad matting and everything like that. It just looks like shit, but it's still enjoyable to watch. I think that's kind of how I feel about these older Windows Movie Maker YTPs, and I don't know. I think I'm kind of rambling again at this point, but those are kind of my thoughts on it. I don't know for sure if many people actually like this, or if they just liked it for the ending, but anyway, let me get this started. Right now the sun has moved to the point where it's really glaring on my screen. It's like a third of my screen, I can barely see it all. I just thought I'd point that out. But anyway. Oh, and also, before I forget, this video, this Hotel Mario video, this was something I recorded back in like 2013, I think it was, because at the time, this was before I started making YTPs, but I was into YTPs at the time. And I was also getting into CGI, you know, really learning how to use Blender, and I wanted to remake this intro using Blender, but I didn't know how to like download videos and stuff at the time, or at least I was too lazy to look into it. So I just decided I just needed this for a reference, so I just recorded it off my screen, and I think I just left the subtitles on because I thought that was funny. But then I found this video like sometime earlier this year or whatever, and I thought it'd be funny to make a YTP, like a Windows Movie Maker YTP, using that recorded footage, because that just added an extra layer of shittiness to it. And this part is obviously like it's intended to be kind of like a sort of sequel type of thing to what was it called? Dear Pesky Plumbers, the YTP that I made sometime. I don't know if that was last year. I think it was last year. Yeah, it was like late last year, where it was like supposed to just be. It was really shitty, like meme replacement type of dialogue using the Hotel Mario intro, and ended with like a Mario and Luigi thing. And then, like I said, that was kind of like supposed to be a sequel to it. But anyway, I guess that's probably should be obvious, I would assume. Okay, this next one is I should have given this one maybe a better title. It's YTPMV. What would I mean? It's Harkinian sings hey yay yay yay. Whatever, I don't know. It's not weird to type it out, but it's weird to try to say it. But anyway, this one was uploaded April 8th. It has just about 33,000 views, so that's pretty good actually. This one was one that I started working on back in, I think it was October, or yeah, it was October of last year, during a time when I was supposed to be taking a break from making YTPs so I could focus on a review thing that never happened that I was going to do again this year, but I never got around to it, so maybe next year. But I had it mostly finished by like the end of that October, and then I just kind of abandoned it because I wasn't sure if I was even going to finish it, because I wasn't sure if I really liked it that much. But then I finally finished the visuals and uploaded it April 8th this year, and I do really like how it worked out. I do wish that I need to learn how to do some sort of like auto-tune type thing, because I think it would be much, much better if it was actually like auto-tune to actually sound like he's singing rather than just sentence mixed. So I think I have some sentence mixed YTPMVs that I think sound just fine without having to auto-tune or pitch shift or whatever. But this, I don't think this is really one of those cases. I think it sounds okay if you don't listen to the original first. Like if you listen to them back to back, you can tell that it sounds pretty bad. But I do like the visuals. like, visually speaking, it might be one of my favorite YTPs that I've made. Although I did intentionally kind of hold back on some of the visuals, like some of the visuals that I could have made better. I did kind of intentionally not spend too much time tweaking them, because by the time I do eventually finish the King's Nostalgia Trip, I want to make sure that is my best looking YTP. I didn't make anything in this video look bad per se, but I didn't, like, for example, there's a couple parts where you can see like the top of Harkinian's head is cut off because I had to crop it down a certain way. My birds are really loud right now. I hope that's not picking up too loudly on the camera. But anyway, if I was doing that in the King's Nostalgia Trip with him cropped down, I would actually go in and draw the top of his head in each frame, so that way it looked like it's supposed to be that way. But so I intentionally didn't bother with any of that stuff in here, because like I said, I want to make sure that nobody when the King's Nostalgia Trip comes out, I don't want anybody to look at it and say, yeah, it doesn't look as good as this video or whatever. But that being said, I do really like the way the visuals of this turned out. I think I've basically said everything that I need to say about it, so get into it. One of the things, though, that I really don't like about this is I realized, I don't know why it took me so long to realize it, but I added way too many stars behind him. Like, I have an earlier upload of this video that was unlisted, that I uploaded to share with my Patreon supporters, where one of the things I changed when I finished the version is I did something different with the stars, and there ended up being way too many stars. Whereas in the original one, it's like, it looks much better in the original upload that I shared with my Patreon supporters. The story of this one, I actually, like I said, I really like the visuals of this. I also really like the way that it turned out with how well it kind of matches up with the story of Wand of Gamelon. Not perfectly, obviously, but there were a lot of parallels between the two that were very easy to make. I think when I first made this, when I was first doing this back in October of last year, I wasn't really comfortable at the time with sentence mixing Harkinian to say, "Oh my God." I mean, I don't think it was that I wasn't comfortable doing that. I just wasn't sure if how my audience would react to that. I think, I don't know. I mean, it wasn't that I didn't want to. It was partially that, but mostly just because I figured people would enjoy him saying "Oh my boy" more. I think this part was like one of the first parts that I edited into the video, before I really had plans of making it kind of follow along with the story of Wand of Gamelon. I don't know if I would have done it any differently.
Why?
Yeah, I guess I don't really have quite as much to say about that one as I thought I would have. Oh my God, it's really, no, it's almost half the screen has a big glare over it, and it's hard for me to read things. But I'll keep moving on. It's not impossible, and lighting still looks fine, but I don't think I have too much more time left, even though it's only 2:14 in the afternoon. Anyway, I need to lean in for a second here so I can even read what that says. Okay. So the next one then is Beasty and the Beaut, YTF, Beasty and the Beaut, uploaded April 17th. This one has not quite 15,000 views at the moment. This one, even though, you know, I had in the Patreon sentence mix request video, I had Pumkin say shit. This was kind of like the first time that I did like a lot of profanity and more dirtier humor that I wouldn't have done a couple of years ago in my YTPs, and there's a train going by again. But I think the main reason why that happened with this video is because this is it's a YTF, it's audio only, so I just had the dialogue to work with, and you know, you can really only do so much with sentence mixing. It's very hard to do a sentence mix YTP and not at least have something dirty in it. At least make them say the fuck word one time, because that's always. The funny thing is, to me, is then just having the narrator just nonchalantly drop the F word and stuff like that. I don't know. Not everybody found it to be funny, but I think for the most part, people were okay with it. There was one person that I ended up blocking shortly afterwards because he just wouldn't stop complaining about how I was all of a sudden using profanity and stuff. But I think this one, I think it could have been better. In my opinion, it's not one of my better videos, but I don't know. It might be one of the weaker ones from my last year, but I still think there are some. It has its moments. Let me just get into it then.
Once upon a time in a faraway castle, a young prince.
I don't know for sure if I made the right decision to do the whole castle thing, repeating over and over, like referencing castles constantly. I thought it could be kind of a funny running joke to just kind of every once in a while make a castle reference, but I think I maybe overdid that a little bit.
And turn the old woman into Lydia's castle. But do not be deceived by appearances, for beauty is found within the castle.
Yeah, I definitely overdid it.
Not far from Hark castle. An inventor.
I like that, like the little visual thing that I did with this, like making the Beast into Gaston. I think turned out really funny looking. I kind of wish I would have. Look, I didn't think of it at the time because I didn't really know a whole lot about the irate gamer. But if I was doing this now, I would have made that instead of "get the fuck out of my room," would have done like the "get the fuck off my property" thing. So I think that would have been funnier. But maybe I'll do that. I'll keep that in mind and make use of that clip somewhere else in a YTP.
Until she found herself eye to eye with a talking castle.
I think the castle thing might have been funnier if I wouldn't have overdone it so much in the beginning.
Terrified Belle ran home, arriving in time to see Gaston with the food preparing to.
Or maybe if every time you said castle, like I raised the pitch a little bit or something like that. Like I should have done something different.
I didn't know better. I think you had feelings for me.
What? Gaston, you are very shiny, positive.
To my knowledge, I don't think I looked and I couldn't find any YTPs where they made Belle say you are HIV positive. But I did get one comment of someone saying, "Why does every YTP of Beauty and the Beast make that joke?" So I wouldn't be surprised if someone did make it, but I couldn't find one anywhere.
Sealed Maurice. You really believe that? Gaston winked at Maurice looked down.
And also this part right here is a reference to Waxinator.
A wonderful smile.
It was Waxinator, I believe, right? It was Waxinator. Did the Beauty and the Beast YTPs, which it is kind of funny that they would use that word in Beauty and the Beast, even though it obviously doesn't mean what everybody else thinks it means. But it's one of those words that you can't really use anymore. With that context, that is. Anyway, should move on now. So the next one is YTP Luke It Is, uploaded April 25th. It has not quite 15,000 views. I think it actually has more views than the original Look at This video, unfortunately. Hopefully the YTP introduced a couple people to Look at This. But well, for those of you who don't know, that's the Things One's like review channel type thing. He only has one video at the moment, but I know he's working on a second one. But anyway, like he uploaded his first episode, and I made this video. Actually, I made it in a day. Like just this one I made on I made this one using Vegas Pro. As well. I think it's the only other YTP that I've ever made with Vegas Pro. But for some reason, Vegas Pro just doesn't really work right on my computer, so that's why I don't use it. And I plan to do a lot more with this, but because it wasn't working properly, I just kind of quit. I think it was like a day late. I think the original video was uploaded like a day or two before my YTP was, and so even though I made my YTP in a day, it was a little bit later before I uploaded it. But I intended to add a lot more, but I just couldn't because it didn't. Like I said, it wasn't working right, and it was just more of a pain to try to do more with it. And I figured it's good enough as like a little filler video. But yeah, let me just get started on this one then.
Who's that?
Luke it is.
That audio clip of the Michael Rosen's cheering, I like that enough to the point where I've used it in one other video so far, and I think I'll probably use it in more videos just because I think it sounds too funny not to use more than once.
It's a taco joke.
I think what I did with the Michael Rosen thing is I layered like multiple Michael Rosen clips of him saying hooray, and adjusted the length of it just slightly by like a frame or half a frame, and did different. I'm not even talking about the video, I'm talking about the Michael Rosen bit, but I like used pan to have it so that each one is coming out of the different speaker in different levels and everything, so it should sound like a crowd of people rather than just one person. But now that the video's almost over, maybe I should talk about the video.
I don't remember anything in the Bible about Jesus.
I think this is another one of those videos where I think it's much better in the second half than the first half.
Oh, I get it. He's spreading shit, just like I'm spreading hate.
Okay, maybe the second half isn't quite as good. Well, at least maybe not. I don't know. That's another one that I feel very mixed about. I don't necessarily love it, but I don't necessarily hate it. I kind of like certain parts and dislike other parts. I don't know. Okay, this next one, I'm not going to do a commentary over this one, just going to kind of talk about it, and my birds are really fucking chirping loud again. I should have moved, I have them in my bedroom. I should have moved them into the bathroom so they were a little bit further away, but it shouldn't be too distracting. It might just be kind of, you should be able to hear it, but anyway. So this next one then is Super Smash Mouth All-Star Mode. This was another one that I started working on, I think last October. It was around the same time that I started working on the Harkinian YTPMV. And this one had a lot of very tedious sentence mixing, but it was also, I don't know, it wasn't difficult, it was just kind of tedious, you know what I mean? But I don't remember how long I've had the idea to do this YTPMV, but I'm glad I did it, because this is an example of one where I don't think it needs to be pitch shift or auto-tune or whatever. I think it sounds just fine. It'd probably sound a lot better if it was auto-tune, but it doesn't need it necessarily. But I really like how this one turned out. I wish I would have had something I could have done with the visuals, but I guess with just the one picture, it's, you know, well I have the picture, and then you can see Shrek and Smash Mouth lead singer fade in on both sides. But overall, I'm really happy with how the sentence mixing in this one turned out, which it did lead to the next video that I have uploaded, the Sentence Mixing's Dead video, which I'm not going to talk too much about that one. That one's pretty self-explanatory, just kind of reading over a comment which basically just says that because sentence mixing's gotten to a point where you can sentence mix anything, sentence mixing is dead, which doesn't make any sense to me, or to most people, but anyway, I don't know where I was really going with any of that. Basically, I like the way that the Super Smash Mouth All-Star Mode turned out, and the Smash Bros. Brawl announced, that's another one kind of like the DK rap, DK rapper, where it's, I had a lot of fun sentence mixing with that one, and I want to do more in the future, kind of like the way that I've been doing the DK rapper. Let me see here, this next one, Homer gets touched in a way that makes him feel uncomfortable. Another one I'm not going to actually do a commentary over, just going to kind of talk about. It was uploaded May 12th, has not quite 20,000 views. I didn't really like the way that one turned out all that much. That was at a time when I was getting my computer. Or no, I don't think I had. I don't think I brought my computer in for repair yet. I think I just needed to get my computer repaired because it wasn't working properly. So I edited that on my brother's laptop, which was absolutely horrible to work with. My brother's a guy that loves pooping. For the two people who don't know, I don't know how he manages to get any video editing done because that laptop is just an absolute piece of garbage. I think it took me like an hour to make this one video. But anyway, I don't know, I didn't really, it seems too much like meme pandering to me, kind of like what I was afraid that some people might think the Steamed Hams YTP was. Or no, I didn't think they were going to think that's right, because I thought the meme was dead at that point. Just to talk about the Steamed Hams one just for a little second longer, if the Steamed Hams meme, if I didn't think the Steamed Hams meme was dead when I made that YTP, I probably would not have made that YTP because I would be afraid that people would think it was meme pandering. And that's kind of what I feel like the Homer gets touched in a way that makes him feel uncomfortable came across as. I don't know, it's not like completely terrible, it's just like there's nothing really there good or bad, it's just kind of, it exists, and that's it. So, anyway. Here's a non-YTP that I want to talk a little bit about, which is Here Comes Pumkin. That was uploaded June 8th. Now more than half my screen is glared over, so it's kind of hard for me to read that. But it was uploaded June 8th. It has over 50,000 views. I didn't realize it had that many views. But that's what I was saying earlier. People seem to really like anytime I do anything with the Pumkin model. So I want to do more. I have plans to do more. But I don't want to do too much because I don't want to make it feel like I'm just pandering at that point, you know what I mean? But that one, the Here Comes Pumkin, I had that idea for quite a while. That was, originally it's just me in the video, like me using split screen, but it's like the two human characters. And for the longest time it was going to be me and Logan, but every time he came over we would never get around to recording it. So I just finally, one night at, after work, I think it was like 2 a.m., I just recorded that video. I turned on all the lights in the house, and you can see, if you watch the video, that, the color's looks very weird, it's very grainy. I mean, it is mostly because of the quality, like a 240p quality or whatever, because I did imitate the exact resolution and aspect ratio, whatever, but it's, if I would have done it in HD, even though it's an HD camera, it would have looked like shit because it was recorded so late at night and so low light that I had to kind of ruin the color and everything when I brightened it up and everything. But the only thing that I really don't like about the video is Pumkin's sentence mixing, because, like I said, sentence mixing Pumkin is not easy. And I did kind of consider, I was kind of considering doing, like, just recording the voice myself and raising the pitch so that way it would match up even more with the Here Comes Pac-Man video, which, by the way, if you don't know, you can play the two videos side by side and they match up perfectly. Like, the way that I did the audio for that is I recorded the audio first, like my dialogue for the two human characters, and then in Sony Vegas I layered the original Here Comes Pac-Man audio over the top of that, and just like kind of adjusted the speed of my dialogue and the timing and everything to make sure it matched up exactly perfectly. And when I recorded the video portion late at night, all I did is I had my phone next to me and I was playing the original video, and I would just lip sync along with that, just like making sure that I would lip sync Pumkin instead of Pac-Man, which wasn't too hard. And like I made sure to frame it up to the point where it's, I think there's the one shot where it's like you see behind the two guys and you see Pumkin in the doorway. That doesn't match up. The framing of that doesn't match up with the original Here Comes Pac-Man, but otherwise everything else does. So I put a lot of work into it, and it turned out. I really like the way it turned out. So I'm happy to see that a lot of people seem to like that one as well. But well, I guess you probably already know that you can play the two side by side because of the Here Comes Puckman YTP, or There Goes Puckman YTP that I made specifically so I could practice doing a Vegas replacement of Here Comes Pac-Man with Here Comes Pumpkin, or just to see how well that would work. I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of going on a little bit too long and not really making a whole lot of sense anymore, so maybe I should move on. But yeah, if you have any Here Comes Pac-Man YTPs, or plan on making any Here Comes Pac-Man YTPs, just know that you can replace do a Vegas replacement of the Here Comes Pac-Man with Here Comes Pumpkin, and it'll match up perfectly. But let me go on to the next one then. This is YTP, There Goes Puckman. I need to lean in just so I can see when it was actually uploaded. It's very hard for me to read the date. Okay, it was uploaded June 8th. It has not quite 33,000 views. This is another one that I made in like a day. Probably the same amount of time that it took me to make the Steamed Hams YTP, or a very similar amount of time. And I really like the way this one turned out. I edited it using the same video settings as the original video, you know, so it's in 240p at like 10 frames per second or whatever it is. So it was much less stressful to make, because whenever I edit in like HD and stuff, it tends to kind of slow down Vegas, and so editing in 240p it works perfectly. And so it was a lot of fun to do one that was just do a YTP just for fun, I guess, which is something that I really should be doing. I'm not saying that I don't make YTPs for fun. You know what I mean. Like, I try to make my YTP as good as possible, but every once in a while, I make a YTP like There Goes Puckman, where I'm just focusing on having fun making it and hoping that people will enjoy it when it's finished. And people did seem to enjoy it. I don't think I ever got any negative comments on it, and it seems like a lot of people enjoyed it. But anyway, let me just... well, I'll play it in just a minute. I do want to talk about the Vegas replacement of using Here Comes Pumpkin. I think that confused a couple of people who didn't know what a Vegas replacement was, because I do remember getting a comment of someone saying that it's hardly any different from the other YTP or whatever. So, well, that one has almost 18,000 views. The Vegas replacement. I don't know. I should probably just get into the video now.
Oh shit, here comes shit.
Hey, Pac-Man.
I don't know for sure how much I'll have to say about this one when I'm watching it, though. Because, like I said, it was... like, nothing was really thought out. This was just kind of one of those... I call them ad-lib poops, because, like, that's kind of a dumb name, but I'm kind of a dumb guy. But what it is basically, like, I just make it up as I go along, and I don't really go back and change anything, aside from maybe, like, tweaking some of the edits to kind of polish them a little bit. But for the most part, I work from start to finish and just do shit and see what happens. And some stuff works, some stuff doesn't. And I think this one, for the most part, I don't think there's anything in here that I really dislike. Aside from this part, I wish I would have done something a little bit better for this part, the I'm High on Memes dance part. But even then, it doesn't last for too long, so it's fine as is, I think. That was a weird instance where the Vegas replacement with Pumpkin saying penis for some reason sounds better than Pac-Man saying it, the way that I originally made it.
No, Pac-Man, drugs are drugs.
Yeah, like this style of making YTPs, I definitely really enjoy, and I want to do more of these in the future. Which actually, I guess I don't know. I've done a few like these before. I don't think I've ever made a bad one, but they're not usually as polished and not usually as polished and memorable as some of my YTPs that I spend a lot more time working on. But like I said, people do seem to enjoy them for the most part. So, Anyway, let me move on then. It's another one I'm not going to do an actual commentary over because there's not much I can say since it's only 7 seconds long, but it's Link Discovers the Internet, uploaded July 7th. It has not quite 15,000 views. This was just like a little Twitter shit post that I made. I did another one earlier that day, or the day before, something like that. It was when I was making Gwonamf, and I was just making like little, I did a couple quick little 7-second long shit post videos. And the first one, you'll see that one. If you haven't already seen it on Twitter, you'll see it in the next compilation video I do at the end of the year with deleted clips and whatever I end up deciding to call that one. But this one I put a lot more work into doing the visuals for this one. The other one was basically just very simple sentence mixing. This one actually did some visual work, and I decided it's not great necessarily, but I think it's good enough to the point where I'll share it on YouTube, and nobody seems to hate it. I think there's some people who complain that it's... I don't know. I think I've got a couple people complain that my content quality has kind of gone down, because I kind of forgot to mention this at the beginning of the video, but I think my last year 3, was like definitely my best year for YTPs. I had a ton of really great YTPs. Well, great by my standards. I'm not trying to brag or anything, but like I had PBG Wanders Gamelon, Larry Man Twice, the preview for the King's Nostalgia Trip, You're Not Welcome Here. I had a ton of really great, memorable YTPs from my channel, and this year I didn't really have any. And I think at this point, people... That's one of the things that I'm always kind of concerned about when I upload like shitpost type stuff or filler type stuff, is that people are gonna just think that my quality control has gone down and they're sick of seeing stuff like that. But I think I've gotten to the point now where I don't care so much anymore, because I feel like, it's just every once in a while where I do stuff like this, and if you can't stand to see a stupid shitpost like once every other month or whatever, then I don't know why I should bother to try to keep you happy or whatever, if that makes any sense. But I don't remember for sure if I got any comments like that. I think I got like one comment. It wasn't, if it did happen, it couldn't have been too bad of a comment, considering the fact that the really bad comments tend to stick out in my mind. But I do think that I saw 1 or 2 people mentioning how my videos were not as great or whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'm just completely making that up. But anyway, let me just move on to the next one then. This next one is Gwonamf, my 25k subscriber special. Uploaded, I need to lean in again to see when it was uploaded. Uploaded June 11th. It has just about 38,000 views. This was one, I don't remember when I started making this one. Yeah, I don't remember when I started making this one, but it wasn't really intended to be a YTP at first. I wasn't going to call it a YTP. It was just going to be sentence mixing Harkinian and Gwonamf over the Garfield thing, and then I was going to like redo the pictures and everything. But then I did decide at the end that I was going to make it a YTP, and I decided to make the 25k subscriber special, which I don't know if I should have done that. Like that was kind of what the text at the end is for. I know, sorry, this one kind of sucked or whatever, was because I was anticipating people every time I anticipate people are going to hate one of my videos, people tend to love it, and every time one of my videos, I upload a video that I don't think twice about, that's the ones that people tend to get upset over. So I don't know. I've never uploaded a video that people get like really upset over. Like I'm talking like 1 or 2 comments. But anyway, and of course, I added the ending bit, which the ending bit, in my opinion, like the ending scene with Link, is by far the highlight of the video. Like I like the video as a whole, but I think it's just kind of okay. But it's just that ending bit that I think is a really strong ending. That's kind of, the fact that people tend to really love this video, I think that kind of proves my, well, I guess it's not my theory. I'm sure I know other people have said this before, but it's kind of what I always give people for advice is make sure in your videos you end on a good joke, or at least something entertaining. You don't want to end with something weak, because people are going to remember the ending more than they remember the beginning. So you want to start out strong enough to keep people's attention, but you want to end even stronger to keep people coming back. But anyway, I guess I can just get into this one. Yeah, I'll come up with stuff to say when I start watching it. There were a couple of people who said that I should have reversed the roles and made it that Harkinian was Garfield and Gwonamf was John, which kind of, I guess, makes sense. But the intention is that Gwonamf is, in my opinion, Gwonamf is more of a Garfield character in the sense that he's more like, I guess, like a pet to Harkinian. Like he doesn't live there, or he just kind of visits there. He just comes by and crashes on Harkinian's couch and eats his food, and that's kind of what I was going for. And also, this is written by Link, so this is kind of Link's perspective, based off of what he's heard from Harkinian. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I do get the fat, lazy, narcissistic Harkinian as Garfield. And there was one comment from someone saying that the pictures were too well drawn for a Garfield parody, but I traced over the original pictures, so I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know, I just thought I'd mention that. Also, I made sure to do Link sentence mixing here, and Harkinian's coming up. I made sure to make that as good as I possibly could, because all the other stuff, like I intentionally made it kind of choppy sounding and not very good to kind of go along with the text-to-speech feel. So I wanted to make sure that people could see that I can sentence mix better than that. Also, I want to point out, on the shelf, on his toy shelf, when I was looking for pictures of like toys to put on his shelf and whatever, I was trying to think of like certain toys that are popular or whatever, and I did a Bionicle one, and I don't know anything about Bionicle. I just Google searched Bionicle PNG and went with like the first good-looking Bionicle PNG thing that I found. And there were like 2 or 3 comments of people who were upset that it's like I guess it's like a fan-made render, like a CG render of a fan-made Bionicle or something like that. And I didn't know that, and there were people upset that I stole it and didn't give them credit or something like that, but like I said, I had no clue. I don't know the first thing about Bionicle, and so I won't be referencing Bionicle again. But like I don't consider it theft in my opinion, because like I used it in the same way that I would use any other Bionicle picture. It's not. I don't know where I'm going with this. I guess what I'm trying to say is that, because like I've recently kind of mentioned about how it bugs me when people steal memes and stuff without giving credit, and I would imagine it'd be easy for someone to hear me say that and see this and think that I'm being hypocritical. But in this case, I'm not. I'm taking something and then doing something different with it. It's not just like re-uploading the picture or whatever. I don't know. I probably didn't need to specify that, and now I've kind of backed myself into a corner where I don't know how I'm trying to explain what I'm trying to explain, and I'll just keep making things weirder and more confusing. I don't know. Basically, the point is that to sum it up, that Bionicle was a fan model that people were upset that I used without giving credit to the original person. I don't know who the original person is. I don't know anything about Bionicle, but that's there. That's the story, I guess. I don't know. I should move on. Alright, the next one is Hark and Mike's Interdimensional Milk Hunt, which was uploaded June 13th, or July 13th, I mean. It has not quite 9,000 views. This was my entry for the Milky Crusaders collab, or I forget what exactly Nintendo 64 called it. I think the collab's actually been age restricted now. So if you haven't seen it and you're not 18, I guess you can't see it now. But anyway, I have no clue why it was age restricted, but I guess that sort of thing can happen on YouTube. This one was, I'm trying to think of what to say to kind of lead into it. Oh, you know what? I made this one, even though it was uploaded July 13th, I made this back in, I think, November of 2017. It was either November or December. So it's actually, I did do some tweaking to it. Like I edited some of the animation frames to kind of make it look a little better. I changed one minor section, and I think I just did little tweaks like that. But for the most part, this was finished back a full year ago, but it was never made public until the full collab was finished, which was July 13th, or not July 13th, September 30th, I guess, was when the video was published. But anyway, let me just play it then, and I'm sure I'll find things to talk about when I'm watching it. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what exactly to talk about this, because I don't know. So, sometimes I have too much stuff to say about a video, and sometimes I don't have anything to say about a video.
Something about this case speaks from my heart, don't you think? Oh, or this is my
It might be just because of the fact that I've made this a year ago that I don't really have things to say about it, because I don't really remember any interesting stories or what. This was one of the parts that I added, the Link character, which I don't know if maybe I shouldn't have changed the colors. I just kind of wanted to make it be like a different character, or whatever. Probably would have been better just keep him in his normal colors. But originally that scene with Link, it was just Hark, or not Harkinian. It was just supposed to set up I Am Mean as a character living in this town. So it's just I Am Mean talking to, or listening to, the Did You Ever Have a Dream kid try to talk. And this part was like a reference, or maybe not really a reference, but like similar to something that I did in which YTP was it? Ouija Tales. If you've never watched that video, it's well, you can just watch it. It's not a very long video. It's near the end of Ouija Tales. There's a similar thing to that. But yeah, I guess I could talk about how there was originally a lot more to this video. Like when I first was starting it out, I had a lot more planned out for it. I wonder if I could probably talk about it for like an hour, all the different ideas I had. Basically, the main idea that I had, the first idea, or maybe not the first idea, but the idea that I was going to go with when I started editing it was they were going to fall out of the portal, land on the ground like in the middle of nowhere, and they were, the idea was that they're not back on Earth, they're like in an alternate dimension. Well, actually, that changed a couple of times. One point it was going to be that they were way into the future, like 30, 40 years, well, not way into the future, but, years, decades into the future. Which I decided to cut that because I thought, maybe I shouldn't do time travel related stuff when I'm working on the King's Nostalgia Trip, because then people I don't want to accidentally reuse ideas, and I don't want to have people compare that video to this video and whatever. But the idea that I had was that they were going to try looking for a town, try looking for a place to get milk and whatever, and they were going to run across I Am Mean, who was like out walking through the middle of the desert, which I guess in hindsight, I don't know exactly why he would be there. But they were going to ask him about milk and whatever, and he was going to have like some sort of a device that he'd hold behind his back that would, similar to like the emergency button thing that I gave him in the video, where he pressed down and it would like record what's going on, whatever. Go back to the base or whatever with Mario and Cavendish watching and whatever, where they're talking about milk and how they want to buy milk and all that stuff. And then they were going to go, the police force, whatever, was going to go out into the desert. And originally it was going to be Cavendish and and Mario, as well as like a whole sort of like SWAT team type army of Morshu. Like they were all gonna be wearing like SWAT team gear or whatever. And I forget exactly what exactly. I don't remember the exact specifics of the scene, but basically they were just going to confront them and let them know that milk is illegal and all that stuff. And Harkinian and Mike were going to somehow get away and steal a police car, and Mike was going to instantly crash it into the house, and the house would have started on fire. That's where the whole "my friend Link is going to burn and die," or "my friend Link will burn and die" thing was going to come from. Then we're just going to end up getting chased into town. The thing with Ganon pressing the button, the original plan for that was going to be that as they're getting into town, Ganon sees it on the screen. This was way too elaborate. I don't know why I thought I could have done this, but Ganon would see him on the screen and see that like it matches the face of the two wanted suspects for trying to buy milk. He was going to press the button, like spikes were going to shoot up. They were going to be Mike and Hark were going to be riding on bikes into town, because I just thought of a funny visual gag where Harkinian grows legs to be able to ride the bike. And then he pressed the button, and spikes come up out of the road and pop the tires, and they go flying off, and they were going to be chased down by the police force and whatever. Think they get away, they don't get away, they get cornered. There was going to be a part where after they get cornered, then they're surrounded, and Mike throws up his arms to surrender and accidentally hits the guard behind, or not the guard, the Morshu SWAT team guy behind him, knocks him over, shoots off his gun, and the original plan was he was going to shoot off his gun, and it was going to kind of bounce around off off of like the Morshu SWAT team guys, because they would have like sort of like SWAT team, like a mix between SWAT team and armor type of suits. I don't know why my birds are so loud. My birds only get loud when I'm talking, so that's why they're chirping loudly. But anyway, so you're gonna kind of bounce around off of different Morshu officers, whatever, and it was gonna shoot through the pole for the "Got Milk" sign, which is gonna fall down and crush Cavendish, Mario, and like all the guard, or not, I keep saying guards, they're not guards, they're Morshu officers. Gonna crush all of them, and then I had a couple different ideas for what would happen after that. The one was gonna be that, the Morshu behind them that Mike hits originally, wouldn't have died, obviously, because he wouldn't have been crushed. So I had the idea to have Mike look around, like Mike and Harkinian obviously very, very surprised and confused and whatever about what just happened, and Mike was gonna look at him and look at the Morshu behind him and try to do some way to make it look like it's obvious that he's lying or whatever about how I did that on purpose or something like that. And then a couple ideas that I had. The one being that either he was gonna say he did that on purpose, and then you'd hear Zelda behind him, "You did not," and they turn around and it's like a different version, like different color palette of like the different characters, Harkinian, Zelda, Link, Gwonamf, like for Harkinian he would be colored like the way that he was in, there's the train again, colored in the way that he was in the comic books that the game's art is based off of. So like I think he wears like red. I think he wears red in that, and he has like a white beard and whatever. Basically, just to show that they're in a different dimension, and then that would be like the cliffhanger ending. Now the other idea would be that when they turn around, it's Link, like with a beard. Link is the leader. That would be like the time travel thing where like they're in the future, and that's why Milk. The plan was, I don't know how I would have got this across, but the plan was that's why Milk was outlawed. Is because when Harkinian went out looking for milk, he never came back, and so Link didn't want anything like that to ever happen again. I don't know why Link would have been king, now that I think about it. So it would have been Zelda who would have ended up being the ruler, I would think. I don't know. I probably would have figured out some way around that, like that maybe they got married somehow or whatever, and Link became king, or maybe Zelda went after Harkinian and never came back, and so Link was appointed the ruler or something like that. But then the third idea I had, after all that happens, is that like the guard runs away or whatever, or or not, he's not a guard. It's more he's like an officer or whatever. So, after Mike tells him that he did that on purpose, well, I had a couple different ideas for the outcome of that. Either he would just run away, or he would say something like, "No, you didn't," and then like Hark would say, "Yeah, but I stole your gun on purpose," or I don't know. That didn't. Maybe I guess I didn't think that one through very well. Anyway, basically, they get away. They were gonna run and hide in an alley, and mention about how now they're wanted criminals, and what are they gonna do now? And then it's gonna use a clip. Have you ever tried a disguise? And turn around, and it's Robbie Rotten there, and with like a whole bunch of like fake mustaches and wigs and all that stuff that they could use, and that would have left the cliffhanger for the next episode. I don't know. I could continue talking about that because I had way more specific ideas and stuff, but I think that's enough. I don't know if anyone's really that interested in that. But I should really move on. I don't know. I think I maybe only have like an hour left of sunlight. But I am near the end. Just a few more videos left. Okay, so the next one is YTP Die of Pingas, uploaded August 8th. It has just about 15,000 views. This is another one like the There Goes Puckman, where like I made it in a day, just kind of. I mean, it is slightly different because it's mostly sentence mixing, so like I couldn't really just kind of make jokes and just not go back and just see what happens. I kind of had to be a bit more, plan it out a little bit more carefully the way that I made it. But this one was, I think I made it in like 2 days or something like that, and I don't know, it's kind of another one of those videos where it kind of sums up this entire last year of YTP, where I don't hate it, but I don't love it. It's just kind of in the middle. Maybe slightly above average, or maybe right at average, I guess, with this one. I don't know. I think because this one's mostly sentence mixing, I don't enjoy it as much as some of my other videos, because there's only so much you can do with sentence mixing. And it's just not quite as visually interesting as some of my other videos, I guess. But let me just get into it. Oh, and this opening part, I just wanted to see how much I could get done with sentence mixing. It was just very simple sentence mixing. Like I didn't change the speed or like the length of any of the things. Like usually when I'm sentence mixing, I'll like stretch out a certain word or a certain sound, or reverse or whatever, to get a different sound. I don't think I did any of that with that. I just did very simple, basic sentence mixing and just wanted to see how much I could get out of that one opening line.
I really shouldn't eat 15 or 20 tacos before bed.
Oh yeah, this was another one with it. I like the There Goes Puckman one, where I edited it with the original resolution and frame rate and all that. Or maybe not the original frame rate. I think I maybe did it 24, and I think the original is 30. But same resolution.
Wilford, there's a line in the song. Forget your doctor. Come on, get diabetes. And along the trail, you're going to find that you ought to eat ass. It's not a bad idea once in a while. And I think the most important thing I said was, will you talk to me for a few minutes about diabetes? And I really wasn't interested in diabetes, but what I was interested in...
I kind of hope that Wilford Brimley makes a bit of a resurgence in the YTP community, because I think, this source was obviously really big back in like 2009 or what. I don't know for sure when it was a thing, but it hasn't really been a thing for a while, aside from like just using it for very simple jokes here and there. But I think there's a lot of potential that hasn't been used in this source.
I would simply like to say to you, I do love me some toast.
There was more to that joke that I didn't end up doing, where it was going to be, like he says, he says in closing, so I figured it'd be really easy to make him say enclosed instruction book, or something like that, and it was going to be, now I'm not Mario, but I do love me some toast, but I never did that, and also I think the things one did, in one of his Wilford Brimley YTPs made a reference to the enclosed instruction book, and I'm sure other people have as well. So I guess I didn't feel like doing too much too much intense sentence mixing. For the most part, I just kind of wanted to do, like, splicing up certain words and sentences and just, like there are very few words in that YTP that he didn't say in the original video, or at least, well, or something like, for example, the taco part, it just took where he says talk and then added an O sound at the end, you know, just very simple sentence mixing. But I don't know, I think that one, like I said, it's definitely a very mediocre YTP for me, but I don't hate it. Which, again, that pretty much sums up this entire last year for me. But I think I'm already having a better start with year 5, with, like, the Peterman collab, even though that's a collab, and, like, I only did a small portion of it. I don't know why, I always say collab so weird. Collab. Anyway. I should just move on. Basically, I wanted to say that, like, I do think that year 5 is already turning out a lot better than year 4 was. But again, I don't think year 4 was as bad as year 2. I think it's just that it came after year 3, which was the best one I had so far. I really should not try to push I shouldn't try to push myself to be better at my YTPs, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't want to give up and half-ass it or anything like that, but I do want to make sure that I'm not pushing myself so hard that it's not fun anymore. You know, like, I don't want to compete with myself. But I do have a lot of big projects planned out for this year that should hopefully make this more enjoyable than last year. Anyway. Okay, so the next one is YTPMV Maybe Baby, which was, I maybe should have given it a slightly different name, because that's just the name of the original song from Tomodachi Life, but I don't know, I guess it's fine as is. But this was uploaded August 25th. It has a little over 11,000 views right now. And this is one that, it took me a little while to make my decision on it, but I did finally decide that I like this one enough to put it onto my top 10 best YTP/YTPMVs playlist on my channel. Because I haven't updated that since Larry Man Twice. That was the last YTP I made that I liked enough to put on the list. And I didn't think there were any from this year that I liked enough to put on the list, but after watching this one enough, I think I did decide that I liked it enough to add to the list, and I removed So Flow the Worst from my top 10 best playlist. Because just very briefly to talk about that, I do still like that video, but rewatching that one, I realized, you know, this one's basically just kind of like a I don't like the way it's structured, that YTP, So Flow the Worst, because it's kind of just like a joke cut, joke cut, joke cut. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really flow very well. Like, I think some of my more recent YTPs do. Like, I think that's my biggest improvement from year 3, was that I kind of learned how to connect jokes better. But anyway, this one, the main reason I put it on the list is because I really like the way the visuals for this one turned out. Like, it's, I like this song, honestly, like from the game, the Tomodachi Life. I think it's, of the songs you can have your Mii's sing, it's definitely the best song. It's the most, the one that sounds the most like a real song, I guess. It's definitely like a cheesy song, obviously, but it's enjoyably cheesy. And I like the way the sentence mixing turned out for the most part. Even though it was pretty simple, like, it's not a whole lot of, not a whole lot to sentence mix. It's a lot of just repeating the same words. But I really like the way that the visuals turned out, and that was the main reason I decided to put it on the list. But let me just get this started then. But, like, you know, this opening shot alone, I really like the way that it turned out. Like, it's very simple, but I think it works. This is another one of the YTPMVs where I don't think it needs to be pitch shifted in order to work. I think it probably would have worked better if it was pitch shifted or auto-tuned or whatever. But I think it doesn't necessarily need it. You know what I mean? This was also kind of I mean, I guess I can talk about this near the ending, but, like, a bit of a weirder one, because it wasn't like, it's not like a comedic video for me. Like, it's not, it's not serious necessarily, but I think someone commented it's a wholesome YouTube poop or something like that, and I guess that's the best way I can think of to describe it. Because originally I planned on ending on a joke. Like, I had a few different ideas for a joke ending. Like, one of them would have been, one of the ideas was that at the end, use a clip from Look at This, where Luke says, "That means they fucked," and just use that, and because that's a line from the Look at This, the first Look at This episode that me and my brother Logan, a guy that loves pooping, quote the most often, and so I thought that'd be funny to end the video with that, but I didn't. Another one I had planned was to end with like have it pan out from like a computer screen or something like that, and have Harkinian sitting there being the one editing it, and just have him laughing and then say "my ship," and then it ends. Another one was to have like a reference to Things 1's Gamelon 2A YTP, where I'm pretty sure it's Link has like Impa and Gwonamf shipped together. Like have some sort of reference to that. I wasn't entirely sure what I would make it, but just some reference to that. Which Things 1 did actually comment that quote. That's the pinned comment to the video. And then the last joke ending idea, which was probably the most the meanest, I guess, ending, would have been like at the end of the song, you just hear Zelda "Wake up, Impa," and then like show like a reference to the Zelda CD I Revisited, where like Impa's dreaming about Link or whatever. Just kind of have a throwback to that, but also just be like that whole thing is just a dream. But I said, nah, I'll let this one be as is. It doesn't need to have a joke ending. I kind of like doing stuff like that, where I do something just kind of out of character, kind of like the slightly different, obviously, but with the what did I call that one? PPG's Ping Pong Poop, where there's the suicide scene that was kind of edited in like a serious sort of way, not really comedic. And I don't know. I kind of like doing stuff like that. It's kind of like when you look back on your, again, this is slightly different, but still at the same time kind of similar. Kind of like when you look back on your favorite like movies from your childhood or whatever, and you remember like that really weird scene that just everything was like really dark and disturbing, whatever. Just kind of out of character for the movie. I kind of like doing that kind of stuff, where I just do something that's just completely out of character, where it's rather than be joke based, it's just played out straight or whatever. I don't know if that made any sense. I feel like I'm saying that a lot in this video. I said I don't know if that makes any sense, but I think that's just kind of the way I am. All right, we're actually down to the last one then. The last one from year 4 is YTP. I pooped myself for 10 years, not clickbait. Uploaded October 4th and has not quite 7,000 views. Now the title for this one, and on the off chance that anyone doesn't know, this is a YTP of my own videos from my old channel, from my YTP collab based around my old channel. And the title for this one, originally I was going to call this one The Mini Adventures of Jimmy the Pooper, which is what I called the collab, which is a reference to the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, for anyone who doesn't know. Because originally for my entry, I planned on making a YTP of every single one of my videos, which I think there's like 70 or 80 videos on the channel. It would have been way too much work. And I think I kind of gave up on that idea when I realized that I was kind of doing just more or less the same thing with or I would have ended up doing just more or less the same thing with every video. It would have been just kind of like some stutter loops and forward reverse stuff and maybe 1 or 2 sentence mixed jokes, and it wouldn't have been all that entertaining. So I decided to just stick with what I had. And then when I didn't know what I was going to name the collab. So when I named that one The Mini Adventures of Jimmy the Pooper, I didn't know what I was going to call my YTP, my entry. So I decided to name it I Pooped Myself for 10 Years, not clickbait, partly because I kind of like the idea of naming something, putting not clickbait or, just something like that in parentheses at the end of a video, like how some people do. I mean, I guess that's kind of a dead meme at this point, but I don't really care. Memes only die when people quit using them, I guess. I don't know. But the name, I did work out a way to make it so the name actually makes sense. Like, I pooped myself for 10 years. First of all, I pooped myself, obviously, used myself as a YouTube poop source. And then for 10 years part being that it's for my 10-year anniversary. So it's obviously definitely a stretch, but it's still a title that I think is funny enough, and it does technically make some sense. So anyway, let me just get started with this one then. I do wish I would have done something different with the frame rate, though, or not the frame rate, the resolution, the aspect ratio, because I left it in full screen, where I would normally like stretch it out or crop it down or whatever, or just make it in the original original resolution, aspect ratio, whatever. But since I was going to be doing multiple videos spanning from like 244 or 240p to like 1080p or whatever, with the original intention of doing all my videos, I just decided to leave it as is, which, like I said, I should have stretched it out. There were a lot of people who made ass jokes out of basketball. I don't know, it's kind of weird to do a commentary over a YTP of my own videos. It seems a little bit weird to me. I think this is another thing I've started doing more recently, is just stuff like that where it's not really a joke, it's just sort of weird. And like I'm trying to do more just weirdly entertaining edits. I don't know, it's gonna probably take a little while for me to fully get a grasp on what I'm doing. But I enjoy doing stuff like that. That's another thing, like that sort of thing. I've seen that in like meme videos, like where they'll have like something that's flying off screen, and then they'll have like another smaller screen of like someone getting hit in the face or whatever. So. Yeah, I guess the structure of this one is definitely very, like I was talking about with So Full the Worst, where it's like joke, cut, joke, cut, joke, cut. It doesn't really flow. But that was kind of intentional because I knew I was going to chop up the collab, so I didn't want to make it flow too much. Yes, the Do You Know the Way reference thing. I came up with that, the I Am the Way, the Truth and the Life thing, like back when the meme was relevant. I had no use for it. I came up with it because, like, I can remember, like as a kid when I was a Christian, whatever, going to like a Christian bookstore. It was like a bookstore, pet store, coffee shop. It was like everything basically. But they had like T-shirts that they would sell they were like parodies of like mainstream stuff that were made like into like a Christian thing. I don't know exactly how to explain it. Well, like for example, they had one. This was back when the Wii was new. Actually, I guess I can take off my headphones now. This was back when the Wii was new, and huge, of course. For anybody who doesn't remember, the Wii was absolutely huge. But I remember they had one that was like a me version of Jesus, and it said like on the top, "He saved me." He spelled H-I-I, and stuff like that. And I just remember the Ugandan Knuckles when that was big. I remember thinking that if that company is still around, or if they were around, what they would do would probably make something like that, like I Am the Way, the Truth, and the Life. And I thought it was funny in like a so unfunny that it's funny sort of way, if that makes any sense. And I never did anything with it, and I didn't have any use for it. And when I was editing that video, editing that YTP, I just kind of cut it around so it was just Jesus is the way, or no, or what was it? Jesus is the way, it's the way, in fact, it's the way. And I just, after I made that edit, I thought it'd be funny to use that Ugandan Knuckles Jesus thing that I came up with and had no use for. So, I guess that's a weird note to end on, but that's how it ends. That's how year 4 ends. like I said, it was definitely a very mediocre year in comparison to last year's. But like I said, year 5 is already starting out much stronger. With the QWERTY Says a Funny Joke, even though that's a filler video, I still like the way that turned out. I think a lot of other people liked it. People liked it enough to steal it on, this just, I guess we can talk about this next year, but in case I forget, somebody stole it, ripped it, cropped out the watermark, and uploaded it to Instagram, and then somebody took that Instagram post and uploaded it to iFunny, and someone took that iFunny post and uploaded it to Twitter. And they stole the video, they stole the stolen video, they stole the stolen video of a stolen video, and then did they steal it? You know what I mean? Like it's just kind of funny to me. It's annoying in the fact that there are people who think that it's perfectly fine to just rip and re-upload meme videos because it's just a meme video, but at the same time, it's not. It's just the one time that this is. Well, this happened one other time, but it's not such a big deal that I'm going to go on a rampage or whatever you call it. It's annoying, but it's more funny to me than it is annoying. At least this instance is. But anyway, that's about next year. But I just figured I'd mention that in case I forget it next year. But I think that's really it. Like I said, this video was definitely started off very slow and weird. Hopefully it got better as things went on. Hopefully you didn't hate it. If you can leave feedback, let me know what you think about these videos. Basically, I'm very interested to see like who tends to watch these videos. If you watched it all the way through, if you kind of skipped around, all that stuff. I don't know. I'm just kind of curious to know. Like I said, it's well, I've said many times in the past, it's always weird trying to end a video. So I'm just trying to figure out the right way to end the video. But I guess right now I've been talking for like 2 hours straight. I'm starting to lose my voice. I imagine if the neighbors can hear me, they're very confused. But I don't know if they can hear me, but they probably can. If anyone's out in the hallway, they can hear me. That's why I always hate doing it. Maybe next year I'll move this into my bedroom and do it in there. So that way I at least feel like I can't see the doorway to the hallway, whatever. Anyway, I should probably get going then. And you should too, because I'm sure you're very sick of hearing my voice now. But I will see you next year then. And here's to year 5 being better than the very mediocre year 4.